Hello and welcome back to book reviews. It was a while since my last one and I think I deleted one of them because it was too political. Leaders Eat Last by Sinek or Sinek, where we still don't know. I can leave that one up to you. You've probably heard of him because he's like on every motivational YouTube channel. He's obviously a very smart guy. Yeah, makes a ton of self-help videos. I'm really into that type of stuff. So I decided to finally listen to one of his audiobooks, Leaders Eat Last. Leaders Eat Last. Leadership is a very cringe word, I feel like. I think the idea of being able to call yourself a leader, I just think is very egotistical. You should never have to call yourself a leader. It should be put upon you. There are so many ego freaks that are you're probably already thinking of someone. Even in school, it's like whoever thought they were good enough to be school captain. I feel like that's the type of... I have a lot of very smart and very humble friends who would be great leaders, but they just don't put their hand up for anything because I think part of leadership, I feel like it's almost dumb being a leader, and you almost have to have so much of an ego in order to call yourself a leader. So I never really liked the word, but in my own uni I do have a leadership role, so I figured I better do it properly. And there's a lot to learn from this, and if you're in a job that manages people at all, or even in your family, if you have some kind of leadership role in your family, there's just so many things that this book can apply to your life and just how you interact with people in general. And I guess even if you're not the type of person who wants to be a leader, I think it's good because if you want to be a follower, it kind of shows you the type of people you should be following. I think that's another thing too. It allows you to then now look at different types of leaders and know which ones are looking out for you. That's what the book centers around, really, is that leaders eat last. They need to put your responsibilities, they need to put your concerns as equal to or above their own. Now, when I hear that, I think of like an anxious person. A very anxious person will often think of others more than they think of themselves in more of a negative way. But part of being a leader is being secure enough in yourself that you are able to help others in also being secure. To bring this back to the first part of the book, which is very tribal, he talks about different hormones like serotonin, oxytocin, and how these chemicals on the brain can really affect the way people behave, and why you want to promote these chemicals naturally, not through drugs. You want to promote this in people because these are the hormones that allowed us to survive. You know, we're returned to monkey. This is our monkey brain, and we kind of have to learn how to deal with that. He used the analogy of a crocodile. He talks about how let's just say there are two crocodiles and one bird, and one of the crocodiles just snaps up the bird, and swims away, and leaving none for the other crocodile. That other crocodile couldn't give a really, like, okay, my dinner's gone, I have to go out and find new dinner. You and I are different because if I had a whole chicken, I was starving and you were starving, we had a whole chicken to each other, and I just took the chicken and ran off, you'd be angry, right? You'd be angry. Like, and so you should be. And I think that's why he uses that analogy of like us humans, we're designed to work together. And the more we cooperate and the more... If I do steal this chicken, but I cut it in half, give you a breast, give you a thigh, you're gonna like me a lot more, aren't you? And that might mean that when you find a chicken, you might go out and give me some meat too. So you see how this is how humans were designed to evolve. Now, Simon brings this back to teams and leaderships because so often does the leader who gets, extra perks, extra privileges, then will be able to receive more things to promote themselves, whether it's a higher salary, and they'll treat their workers like to get a higher salary. They're putting their own wants above the workers, or above the people who they are supposed to lead. A big lesson I took out of this book was leadership is different from managing, and I feel like that was a big thing that I did last year, was that I managed people, but I didn't lead them. And there's a big difference, because managing, you're just designating different people to do different things. Leading is actually, you know, being supporting as well, at least. To summarize this clearly, he uses the analogy of a plane. And he talks about how, let's just say I'm a pilot, right? And you're on my plane. You're coming on my plane to fly to England. Or if you live in England, flying away from England, because why would you want to live there? Just kidding, you guys have the best unis. The point is, I'm a pilot, and I've been trained. I've read all the textbooks. I've done everything. I know how to fly the plane. But if something went wrong, I only know how to stick to the textbook. I'm not going to ever go off the rules. I'm just going to keep flying the plane. And if something goes wrong, I won't know what to do. Plane will crash. Meanwhile, another pilot says, you know, another pilot knows the rules, but is able to break them too, because he needs to put the needs of the passengers over himself. And so they would, you know, steer the plane away. Which plane would you rather go on? I feel like I explained that terribly, but I'd like to think you would get my point. We want leaders that are willing to break the rules to benefit us, or to give us security. We want security from our leaders, not just to be told what to do. Yeah, look, there's a bunch of other rules and principles in there that I would recommend reading yourself. It's interesting how he talks about the baby boomer generation and the millennials and the dynamic there, because baby boomers actually are the selfish generation, according to him, not according to me. But millennials tend to be lazy as a result of getting, you know, participation awards at school and stuff like that. The book came out in 2013, and I do feel like it is very dated in that regard, because that is kind of like phone bad boomer memes. Like, a lot's happened in 8 years. 8 years since this book has been published, and I think he talks about social media having with phones, and how phones are bad, social media is bad. Yes, social media is bad. All of what he's saying is true, and I think you can take it on board. Especially having your phone out at like a date or something like that. Like, he talks about how you should really just leave your phone back at home if you're gonna go out on a date or like a really good adventure. And I think, yeah, he's right. Like, you shouldn't just take your phone out. Like, imagine if I'm just talking to you right now. Let's just do that. This is really entertaining, isn't it? But the point is, I think what we've learned in these 8 years, though, is that iPhones and Androids, they're a part of our lives now, and so is social media. It's really hard to not be on social media. You're just a weird person. Like, you don't want to be out of the loop if you're not on social media. And if you're not, then good on you. But I'm telling you now, as somebody who is, you know, ahead of a uni group, if I just decided, hey, everyone, we're not going to be on social media, then I would be kicked out. It wouldn't be like, you know, you do have to adapt to the new world, which is unfortunate. We all have phone addictions. That's what he's saying too. Like, we have a phone addiction. Yes, but is it as bad as like smoking? Probably not. But yeah, that's the only gripe I do have with this. One of the only gripes I have with this book is that, like, yeah, it is dated in 2013. Whenever a book talks about technology, they really need to make it so that it's not dated, I guess. I think that's all I have to say about that, to be honest. Now, here's a channel update. I'm back at uni now. I'm really busy. I started this channel back in February, right before lockdown. This started off, I wanted to do this like a study channel. Now, the thing is, my grades were not that good last year. They were fine, but I think in order to be a study channel, you have to get good grades. And although I study a lot, I just don't think I can give the best advice, considering I don't get the best grades. That said, though, if you would like to see that, like, let me know, because I do have different techniques that I like to explore. I love like vibing while studying, and I definitely think I could probably give some good advice there. But I'm back at uni, and I think the reason I started the channel too was that I always wanted to hit 1,000 subscribers so I could live stream. and that way I could like live stream my studying and stuff like that. But look, we're beyond that point now. I think as a result though, as a byproduct of making these videos, is that I now have a community. Like, we have 300 subscribers. I like snails, I like Oz. Thank you for watching. I appreciate that commented that you still wanted to see my videos. That's so awesome. Book reviews, I think I'll keep doing book reviews because I keep reading a lot, and so this is actually a really good way for me to keep track of like what did I remember from the book, or what are the big takeaways. And if you don't like reading, then you can watch these videos. If you like this, let me know, because I would like to also, maybe I'll amp up the book reviews a bit more if you find them entertaining. Overall, I just want my videos to be able to be listened to like while you're cleaning up or doing something else with your phone or something. Alright, thanks for listening. Keep subscribing. Appreciate all of yous. See you next time.